representatives from St Margaret's like to come up? Good. I should say, as St Margaret's Group make their way up, that each of our award winners is going to have a little bit of opportunity to tell you something about them. So they'll do that this afternoon.
Fantastic, very well done indeed.
Thank you very much.
Superb award. And it's great to see that you've resurrected history group, you've given it new life. So very well done indeed.
Thank you very much. You're keeping me company.
Next we'll move on to the category of inspiration. So our award for the group who won the most inspirational community archive and heritage group of 2012 was Ride Social Heritage Group.
I should let on that I was invited down to see their work in progress last year, and inspiration doesn't do them justice. It's incredible what you've done in a very short space of time. So very well done. Thank you very much indeed.
Next, we have the category of innovation, and so the most innovative community archive and heritage group of 2012 is Six Streets Derby.
Fantastic idea to compare census from 100 years ago with today, and also to get archives and communities together again. So it's fantastic work.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Thank you. Lastly, and this is the last category, but also the overall Community Archive and Heritage Group of the Year. So for Best Online Community Archive and Heritage Group, it's Beyond the Point.
You're going to hear from them very shortly, but these two gentlemen here are truly inspirational as well as innovative, and translated all of that into an amazing website. So I'm also quite keen to hear what they've got to say next. But as role models for a younger generation getting involved in history and heritage, they are absolutely out there. So very well done, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Very much appreciated.
Thank you for the award. I think it's really an excellent accolade, and it's put the stamp of approval on our efforts. So we are from Beyond the Point, and I'm in, this is Joe, as we've been introduced. And we are all about revealing the unseen history of South East Essex. So our aims, which is what we're going to go through first, is to firstly raise awareness of local history and its impact on our modern environment, which is quite specific. And what ties into that local environment today is documentation and exploration of what remains of local history. And we also research into the sort of secret, unseen areas of it, not usually covered by conventional local historians, which sets us apart. And we present a new perspective of history, which does appeal to younger people, as well as the more general audience, because it does involve exploration and that more modern new approach. So please visit the website beyondthepoint.co.uk down there, or just Google Beyond the Point.
Okay, so a bit of information now about Beyond the Point, and it all started when we set up just a free blog 2 years ago, and we was 14 then. And as we said, it was just a free blog, nothing much really, and to come this far is a real achievement for us. And although we had an interest before we started Beyond the Point, we particularly become interested when we found some concrete structure remains. And it turns out that that's the site of a 1970s oil refinery that's on Canvey Island. And we then decided to find more what we call secret locations. And whenever we go out, we film documentaries on the site for our YouTube channel. We take loads of photos and put them on our Facebook page. And we combine the two together and write articles on our website, which people can then read and also see the site. And we tend to go out every few weekends and school holidays, and we set out exploring pretty much everything, from old walls and bricks all the way to abandoned factories and even wartime bunkers. And we cover everywhere over South East Essex and beyond, from Thurrock to Southend, and we cover any era, whether it's from the Roman era or all the way up to the Cold War. And we do cover the rest of Essex, and occasionally we do go beyond the point, and we feature places in Kent and also in London on occasion.
So since we've started Beyond the Point, we have been surprised at the name we've made for ourselves within the local community, and how others and our contacts and that have helped us to do that. And we've had many achievements along the way. The first one is we created a 1-hour documentary on our local area, Canvey, and we went through it in chronological order, took a lot of research and a lot of filming, although we did feel we brought perhaps the first DVD documentary on the area. That was quite a milestone for us. We've run several stalls and displays, and you can see that in the middle at the bottom, local celebratory events. And we've got very strong links with the Canvey Community Archive and also the Bay Museum, which is a local museum. You can see that down there in the left, and we've got a sort of permanent section to ourselves as a display, which we're really grateful for. And we've given many spoken presentations to local societies and schools, and of course we've been getting the younger generation involved there, especially as we did speak to an infant school. And we've also featured in the local press and newspapers, although of course all this doesn't compare anywhere near as much as the award.
So, as you probably gathered by now, we are very passionate about local history, and if you know the facts, then your own town pretty much becomes an open museum. And not only is it just as interesting as other history, but it applies directly to you, and you yourself can just go out there and see it whenever you want. And it's not always the stereotype of churches or childhood memoirs, but it can be fascinating scenarios such as, what if your local area become a war zone, defended by the Home Guard in World War II? And you tell by the war bit there that we are keen boys, and we'll do like a good old battle or something. And it does make you think about an alternative world which once existed in the area that you believed well, and there's just so much history that hopefully one day we will cover it all. And we're now just going to show you a brief video on what goes on behind the scenes. Okay, so that was just a short video basically explaining behind the scenes of Beyond the Point, and now I'm just going to explain a little more about exploring basically.
So I hope that's shown you we are sort of the average teenagers, and this is just a hobby that's sort of arisen. So let's talk about exploring then. Really, this is us going out there and getting the content for Beyond the Point. So I think that it came from and it indulges in that childhood desire to explore, especially the sort of unknown secret places which got us hooked initially. And part of our exploring does just involve appreciating the natural landscape and the local area, which is sort of that classic exploration, and it's an enjoyable byproduct of Beyond the Point. But on the other hand, of course, what it's all about is Beyond the Point exploring man-made historic elements. And these range from everything from ruins and earthworks in the natural landscape all the way to the interior of sort of old buildings and ruins, and it's both parts the exploration of man-made elements within the natural area, the locality. The places which we cover, they're usually sort of abandoned or simply decaying, and we feel that although they're greatly weathered, they do hold the spirit of their former identity, which hasn't changed since they were first created, even if they're now weathered.
And we don't just head out and explore, we actually plan it in advance. And what we do is to hunt down the places to explore. We either search the internet, which provides us with a good selection, although they have already been covered. So we also look into local rumours or investigate sites of now long gone structures. And we normally use satellite imagery, as you can see there from Google Maps, and we use that as opposed to road maps because they can show structures and features from above, aerial footage. And when we return from an explore, we then piece together the information that we've found out along with the information that's already out there, and then we can just broaden the knowledge of what we haven't covered. And you can just see on that aerial footage there's several things in that small area, and it all ranges from the site of an 18th century farm all the way to an old oil refinery and even a Roman fort. So it's pretty fun.
So we're now just going to show you two examples of the kind of places we might visit at opposite ends of the spectrum. And the first one is East Tilbury Heavy Anti-Aircraft Battery, and this is a sea defence battery built 126 years ago, so it is of course very old, and it's only a few metres from a council estate, although it is in exceptional condition, and it's escaped vandalism almost entirely. You can see the old signage in the top middle image, which are still printed on the walls remaining from, 126 years ago. And this is a very sort of exploring a man-made structure. On the other hand, we've got Panto Farm on Canvey Island down the bottom, and this is the kind of time team style explore, where we're much more trying to piece together what information we have, and there's not anywhere near as much to be seen as the anti-aircraft battery, although we sort of got old maps, local rumours together, walked out into this nature reserve under the grass where the site of the farm was. We found sort of brick walls, an old timber that made up the farmhouse, and that's really good because that we felt that was sort of important information for local historians, and it had never really been touched on before, and the remains were, it's thought to be completely demolished until we visited it.
So as I said, I was a fan of Miranda Hart, and doing Beyond the Point is such fun. Nobody who watched Miranda will know that. And thanks for listening, and if you have time now you can ask questions, or if not, let me for you.
Then we've got a bit of time. Does anybody have any burning questions they would like to ask? Or do you just want to accost them?
I just got one comment to make. make you may consider yourself ordinary, but I see you as exceptional.
I was wondering, have you managed to measure the level of interest in your projects and whether you are capturing a younger audience? How successful was that?
I mean, it's certainly become quite well known throughout the local community. Like, you get people sort of bump into us and may have at least heard of the website, and I think definitely amongst our schools, I mean, basically, we don't hear enough of it. It's got the names BTP, Liam and Joe, as almost our actual name at school. Although, a lot of people do just quite like the fact that we're on YouTube, but others do take a genuine interest in it, and we do take people from school and their friends and that on the Explores, and a lot of people do show a keen interest. Yeah.
Thank you very much, guys. That's absolutely fabulous.